Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, and this is Flosstube number 16. Today is July the 9th, Saturday, 2022. Kind of said that out of order. Today is Saturday, July the 9th, 2022. There we go. If you are new to my channel, I would like to welcome you. This is a channel where I talk about my cross-stitch projects. I do a fairly, I think a fairly wide variety of projects. Some are fairly small and some are ginormous that take years to finish. I don't really finish a whole lot of stuff. I do finish some things, but not a whole lot, and I hardly ever fully finish anything. So if that's the kind of stuff you're into, if you're into like FFOs and stuff, this is not it. This is not that channel. But if you like looking at full coverage pieces, I always work on at least one or two every 2 weeks. So yeah. And if you are returning to my channel, I would like to welcome you back. Thanks for liking me. Thanks for wanting to see more of the madness. I have a pretty good amount of stuff to show you today. I have five whips that I worked on. One of them I did finish, so I have a finish. So I have 4 whips, 1 finish. One of those 4 whips is actually technically a new start. So really I have 3 whips, a start, and a finish. And then I have some haul to show. And we'll talk about my fake plans. Yeah. So, so back in May, well, earlier in the year, I had discovered these games on Facebook to kind of encourage you to cross stitch, right? So you stitch for stuff or whatever. I've talked about it in other videos. So I'm not really going to get too much into it, but I had joined a bunch of games in May and I overwhelmed my stuff with all the events. So in June, I scaled back on the events and I didn't do that many. And then July was coming up and I saw these events that I did want to do. So now I'm overwhelmed again because I'm in over 30 events throughout, sprinkled across like 10 different games and groups on Facebook. But that's okay. That's okay. It's fine. I did it to myself. The biggest event, I think, is going to be the one in the Extreme Cross-Stitching. I don't remember what it's called. But their big challenge is 100K in 100 days. That's where you stitch 100,000 stitches in 100 days. I haven't updated it in a few days, so I'm not sure how on track I am, but I think I'm getting there. The nice thing about that is that like across the games, if you do like tent stitch or half cross, you have to cut your stitches in half. So if you do 1,000 tent stitches, it really only counts for 500 stitches. This challenge, the tent stitching counts as whole. So if I do 1,000 tent stitches, it's 1,000 stitches because that's a stitch for that project. So I think I'm on track because there was a couple of days where I did a pretty decent amount of stitching in one day. So anywho, let's get started. Let's get started with my whips. So the first thing I'm going to show you is my reindeer stocking. I almost forgot how to do this. I don't know why. It's only been 2 weeks. I was about to show you the thing without actually showing you what it looked like. It's like, where do I find the information? Let me just find it on my tablet. Okay. So this is the Enchanted Christmas Reindeer. This is from Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Donna Gelsinger. That's what it's going to look like when it's complete. And this is what it looked like before. I'm going to try to insert pictures of what it looked like before. I did a total of 600 stitches on it, so I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see, but I think I'll be able to point out what I did. And So I had started in the center of this project. I am doing this 2/1 tent stitch, and this is 25 count easy count Lugana. That's where I'm at now. So I had filled in a lot of the chest of the reindeer here, and then this is the, you know, his headgear, the straps that go on his face. So I did that right there, and then I did a lot of his chest right here. One thing I want to say, which I will probably say every time I show a stocking, I'm doing 2 stockings, one for each of my kids. They'll probably be 20 before they get them, but they'll be done. But one thing I want to say is if you are doing a stocking, hang on, let me show this whole thing. So I started in the middle. You need to make sure that you have enough fabric on this side over here for the foot of the stocking. So the center, so this is the leg of the stocking. This is either side of the leg of the stocking, and then the foot comes out this way. This is the center. This is not the center. This is the center, because when you look at the center of a stocking pattern, you need to make sure that you are including the foot in the stitched area to count where the center is. So let me show you one here. The center is right about there, because you have to count, you have to take this into account as well. So if you are doing a stocking, please do not think this is the center, because you will run out of fabric for the foot. I have seen it multiple times across Facebook, both on like Heaven and Earth pages, and also like regular, like, you know, just like cross stitch groups on Facebook. So just make sure that you're taking into account, like before you start stitching, find the center of the pattern on the pattern, either through Pattern Keeper or on the paper pattern or markup or whatever you use, and make sure that you're taking into account the foot of the stocking when you find your center, so you don't run into the problem of running out of fabric. So that is my reindeer stocking. And then the next piece I'm going to show you is California Dreaming. My computer keeps dinging at me and I don't know why, and it's super annoying. My apologies. This is also a Heaven and Earth design pattern. Artwork is by Jeff Haney. This is a pretty big pattern, and this is max colors, so there are 240 colors in it, and it is, dang it, it is 700 by 501. Really cool, isn't it? I mean, I don't think I'd want to live in a giant metal bullet, but I like it. There's all kinds of little doodads in there. So this is what it looked like before. I worked on this for a couple days, and I got a total of 2,500 tent stitches in it. And I'm stitching this 2/1 tent stitch on 25 count easy count Lugana. This is where I'm at now. So I filled in some of this sky part down here. This is the top of a tiki torch right here, the flame. So I was gonna start filling in the flame just to get that whole little section filled in, but some of it's white, and I was stitching it at night, and I didn't want to do white on kind of white at night. White on white at night. So that's where I'm at on that one. And I am, how far am I? I've done a total of 27,775 stitches out of 350,700. And I am 7.92% done. I didn't tell you that with the reindeer pattern. My bad. The reindeer pattern, I had done a total of 6,560 stitches out of 55,903, and I am 11.73% done with that. Okay, so that's that one. And then let me show you one more whip before I do my new start. My other whip I worked on, I did a lot of stitches on this one. This is Catching Rays from the Cross Stitch Studio. This is my biggest project I have ever done. And probably one of the biggest I've ever seen. This is even bigger than the, I believe this is, yeah, this is even bigger than the like supersized Heaven and Earth designs. So this is Catching Rays from the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork by Abraham Hunter. This thing is massive. It is 1,200 stitches by 900. Yeah, 1,200 by 900. It has 134 colors. I am stitching this 1/1 full cross on 32 count easy count Lugana. Y'all, I did a total of 6,141 stitches since the last time you saw this. I got a page finish. That's page 1. Check. Oh, yeah, I should have inserted a picture. Okay, so I got a page finish. Check that out. There's page 1 done. So I thought it would be fun to do my pages in a checkerboard style. So since I had a corner to go off of, I decided to jump down. I printed out where all the pages were. Those are all the pages. 180 pages on this thing. Now, granted, when you print their pattern, their symbols are bigger than what they would print normally, so they have more pages than what a lot of other designers will have. But this is 180 pages. So I jumped down over here to page 20, thinking, oh yeah, let me get some more pattern in there. No, it's more blue, more sky. So when I get done with page 20, I might go over to page 37 and get some more of that dreaded palm tree. I hate stitching palm trees, but I love beach scenes, so I have to deal with the fact that, you know, I don't like palm trees in general. As I don't think they're, I don't know, I don't like them. So this is the fabric, by the way. Whee! Yeah, it's a blanket. So I started doing this in like a kind of a typewriter style method that I had seen on Stitchin' Mommy, where you start in the far left corner, you pick that thread, and what I'm doing is I'm taking one length. Because I'm doing this 1/1, I'm cutting my lengths in half than what I normally do. Normally, I take it from my hand down to my elbow, and then I double it when I do tent stitch. But since I'm doing full cross, when I was doing that, it was making the floss too long, and it kept knotting up on me. So I'm just doing from my hand to my elbow, and I still get a pretty good amount of stitches out of that one length. But I take the it's too much fabric. So I take the thread, and what I'm doing is working across, but also down at the same time, and working it till it's done. And then I take the next on that very top row. I don't think I can show any closer. Maybe I can. Look at that. The lighting's not super great in here. Oh, there we go. Let me actually show it towards the sunlight coming in the window. So, so then on that very top row, the next open symbol, I take that color and I fill it in. I just keep going across till I finish the top row, and then I go down to the second row and I take the next open. So sometimes, depending on how condensed, like how much color blocking there is, you may be able to skip from like row 2 down to row 6, depending on how, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so once I finish page 20, I think I'm going to go over to page 37 which is right here, and do that one to get some greens in there to break up the blue, because there's a lot of blue, a lot of blue. There are a total of 1,080,000 stitches in this thing. It's a lot of stitches. Like I said, since you last saw it, I did 6,141 stitches. I have done a total of 7,950 stitches, and I am at 0.74%. I'm not even 1% of the way complete, and I have completed one page. Yeah. Yeah. So, there's that. Okay, now to fold all this up. Oh, almost got it. Okay, that's one of my focus pieces. That's like a focus piece in a few different challenges. That's why I've been working on it so much. So, okay, let me show you my new start, and then I'm gonna show you my finish. All right, so my new start is, this is from Stitching Moon Designs. She is a fellow Flosstuber, and she has a shop on Etsy. I will link her shop down below. But this is Villa Lorna. This is an actual house in Norway where she lives. I don't know if it's Villa or Villa. Villa sounds Spanish. I'm going to say Villa. That's how I say it. So this is Villa Lorna. This is an actual photograph of a house that where she lives in Norway, and then she kind of like photoshopped it to make it look kind of like a watercolor. And I don't remember the measurements of this, like the length and how many stitches. I know it's a total of 203,040 stitches. I am doing this on 28 count 2/110 stitch. And I have done a total of 2,600 tenth stitches. So I am trying a new stitching method on this one as well. This is what it looks like. Look at all them parked threads. So what I'm doing, I started in the top left corner. I am doing a method that has been dubbed Royal Rose. So basically, Allison Royal has a Flosstube channel as well, and she had kind of developed, she was trying to figure out a way that she could do her parking, work in like columns and stuff without getting like the lines and everything. So she had started doing this method here where she works, basically what you do is you start, and then it's a little slow going because this is a new pattern, so I don't have any parked threads to work in as I go across, but the idea is that you work across the entire piece. I'm trying to get this so I can see and talk and show you what I'm talking about. So what you do in the beginning is you stitch and you work in this 10 by 20 block right here. And when you're done with that color, you park it down. However, if the thread is done, you park it, I forgot my left from my right. You park it to the right. So since you have threads going down and threads going to the right, the idea is that you don't get lines, like column lines, since you have threads going both directions. I haven't noticed it yet so far, but a lot of the threads, like I do have some that I finished. So what I do when I'm done, like if I did stitches here and there was no more, I go over about 3 blocks to try to stretch it out a little bit. And then also spread, like if you end it down here, you don't put them all here because then you're going to get like, you know, lumps and stuff. So I try to come up this way, you know, I try to spread out the threads. This is nice because I do a loop start and then I'm finishing over here and just snipping it close. And then as you work these towers here, they'll get anchored down, so I don't ever have to flip my work over, which is great. So before I start this tower here, so she calls these the towers, and then this down here is the dungeon. So you park it in the dungeon. But I'll clip these threads here just to get them out of my way, and then I'll stitch this tower here and then park here and end. Like if I end threads here, I'm probably gonna end them like over here somewhere. So this is the top of one of the little peaks of the house there. But I have a lot of this. It's this going all the way across. And then I'm gonna try to go the entire length of the pattern and then go back and start down here. Once I start using these actual parked threads, it's going to go much faster. I do like parking. Like when you work in the parked threads, it does go a lot easier, and it's really not as scary as a lot of people think it is. So just real brief, I'm going to see if I can separate this real quick and show you what I mean. This is not a parking tutorial, obviously, but I'm going to show you real quick. So Megan, I apologize, I am going to show a tiny bit of the pattern, but if they can make an entire thing out of this little bit of the pattern. Okay, so that right there is the very first, like the second, so that's the very first tower. That's what I started with, right? All these threads all these colors here that were continuing down, I parked down here. Now on Pattern Keeper, you can do a shortcut where if you double tap on a symbol, it will I have mine to park in the lower left-hand corner because that's where I start my threads. I start lower left and I go top right. And then if I'm doing full cross, I go lower right to top left. So I have all these little markings where I have my threads parked, okay? So as you can see, so what I'll do is when I come back to my second row of towers, this is my first block right here. I will start with this thread right here, and I will work in all the colors. So that way I can have these up, right? These will be pulled over, and then I will work in, and then I will park the threads down here. So on here, that R is the first thread that I will work in. So I will select it. I will work in all those highlighted stitches in this block right here. It's not up here, that's why I was parked way down here. I'll work these in, and then depending on how long of a length of thread I have left, I will park it in that second one right there. And then I'll mark to park it, I'll highlight all my other threads, mark those off, and then I will move on. My hands are shaking. And then I would move on to this one here that's highlighted, right? And then once I finish that, this is the tower that's below it. If I have enough length on my thread, I will park it down here. The only thing I haven't quite figured out yet with this method is she says, go to the left. Well, when I start this, I have a crap ton of threads here. So, but I'm thinking once I actually start doing this, if I move these threads around and then I just park it where there's a lot of open space and just clip it kind of short, by the time I get over there, it's not going to matter. You're not even going to see it anyway, I think. So, but I'll probably post that on Facebook just to double check and make sure that what I was saying is correct. So anywho, parking really isn't that bad as long as you make sure that you always park in the same corner, like, so you can't like park it in the upper right corner and park another one in the lower left corner. Like you can't. You have to park in the same spot every time. And then on paper you can park as well. You can park on paper because that's what I started. That's what I used to do when I did a lot of paper patterns. I would have 2 different color highlighters. I would park with like a yellow highlighter because it's fairly light. I would make a mark with a yellow highlighter, and then once I did all my stitches, I would go like I would go back and I would highlight with a darker color like a blue or a purple or something so that it would cover up the yellow. So yeah, there's a very brief parking lesson for you. But I do like parked threads. It's just sometimes I get bored with it and then I work all the parked threads in and then yeah. So anyway, so there was that. Okay, my finish. My finish is from Stitch Rovia. This is called PhD. It says, I'm working on my PhD in cross stitch. Project's half done. The reason why I finished it was because I think, what was it? It was like something where you had to like post like every 100 to 200 stitches or something like that. And I started getting on a roll and then I realized I was really close to being done. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to finish this thing. So this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And it took about 1,005 stitches to complete it. Here it is. Look at that. Check that out. Yes, that bottom border is not supposed to be done. I double checked. It is, yeah, that is meant to be incomplete. Yeah, because I was like, I got done and I'm like, why is that not finished? No, no, it's right. So I stitched this on a 32 count Monaco. It was called Pink Splash because there's pink dots all over it. And I did this 2/2 full cross. But yeah, I love this thing. It is so cute. And I do actually know what I need to iron it, but I do know what I want to do with it. My mom had done one of those small little patterns that says like eat, stitch, sleep, repeat. And she had turned it into a project bag. I was going to try to steal it, but she was like, okay, I want to show you this. And she's like holding it to herself. She's like, this is mine. This is my bag. I want to show you, but this is my bag. My bag, just like this. I'm like, okay. And she showed me and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to take it. So she had turned hers into a project bag. And I thought this would be perfect for a project bag since, you know, my history of not finishing stuff, leaving it half finished. So I'm going to give this to her. I'm going to see her tomorrow, so I'll probably give it to her then so she can turn it into a bag for me. And then I'll be able to show you an FFO. Okay, I can call her my finisher. So there's that. And that's all the projects I worked on. I want to show you my haul. I bought some stuff. So when I went to, so Joann's had their sale for their floss for the holiday weekend. It was July 4th for the US. And so they were having their floss sale. And I went, and then of course every time I go, I look at what they have, you know, for kits and stuff like that. And did I find this at Joann's or Michael's? Because Joann's didn't have all my stuff, and there was a few colors I absolutely needed, so I went ahead and went to Michael's as well. I think I got this at Joann's. So the first thing I got was this little dimensions kit, and it's called Christmas Penguin. Isn't that cute? It says Merry Christmas. So this will be done on 14 count light blue Aida. Those are the colors. Thought it was really cute. And it's just a regular kit, so I'm hoping that it's just some full cross and half cross and not too much, like not too many blended threads, because you know those gold collections, they have a lot of blended threads, and they have some that are two strands, some that are 6 strands. I'm hoping this is just a standard like 2-strand, maybe 1 or 2 blends. It doesn't look like there's like any blends at all, so hopefully this will be a quick little thing for me to do. So I got that. And then I got this other kit from Design Works. I got it because it's called Superheroes, and I just got it because of what it is. It is a stamped cross stitch pattern, so I'm not really 100% certain if I'm actually going to do it. Not all superheroes wear capes, and you can personalize it with a name and a year on there. But that's me up in the corner. Doctor, nurse, hospital staff. I'm a nurse. I do not work with COVID patients, so I'm not one of them little COVID heroes. I work for a reconstructive plastic surgeon, but I'm a nurse. So they have, and you know, my sister's over here. She's a social worker. I have lots of friends that are firefighters, and well, they're not, I don't hang out with them, but I know a lot of firefighters, EMT, paramedics, you know, they have all kinds of stuff, you know, the different utilities, grocery workers, sanitation workers, transportation, teacher, the military, vet, dental, like all kinds of stuff. So I thought it was really neat. I wanted to get it, but it is a stamped kit. Not a big fan of stamped kits, but I just had to get it. That shows you I have a problem with buying stuff, because I bought a kit of something that I don't like the stamp part, just because I like the pattern. Okay, so the other thing I got this stuff while I was at Michael's. I found some fabric. They had some really cute fabric. So this is the DMC fabric, Charles Craft. These are all 14 count. Yeah, these are all 14 count. So this is a white, I don't want to pull it out of the box. You're just going to have to deal with it. This is a white opalescent 14 count Aida. You can't see the opalescent, but you know what? I'm not pulling it out because it's going to be a pain in the butt to get back in. But this is a white opalescent Aida. You can kind of see it. You can see it better in person. And then this is like a pink one. And then this is a printed one. You can see the colors there. It goes from like green down to like blue and stuff. And then I think I got 2 rolls. Yeah, I got two of those. And then I got, maybe I got 3. Oh, you can see it better on this one. So there's that. And I actually did buy this stuff with projects in mind. And then this is more of like a brown and pink one. So I bought some of those patterns from Maya Stitch, the gnomes and the potion bottles and stuff. I showed those on a previous video. And so I was thinking I could like do some stuff on those. That's why I bought that. Another thing I bought was a needle minder, from Dakota Detweiler's shop on Etsy. This magnet is strong AF, let me tell you. I was like looking at it, I'm like, did she send me the right thing? Because I ordered a needle minder. There we go. But this is, it's called Octopus, but it's What Lies Beneath is the pattern that I had bought from Heaven and Earth Designs. It's kind of hard to see. It's not focusing very well. Get off my face. See my eyeball. Hello. Hello. So anyway, I bought that. Another thing I bought was y'all recognize this? Pip and Chip. Bought some bobbins. I didn't get the whole set. I just got a small set. I've been seeing these on Facebook. I've been wanting to try them. So, but I'm not going through and gonna rebobinate. That's a waste of time. I'm not gonna rebobinate anything. Like I'm not gonna pull, because I use bobbins. I don't like floss away bags. I don't like floss away bags. I don't like not that I don't like, but floss drops are not really an option for me right now because cats and kids, I don't have a space that I can like hang my flosses on, so it just would not be, it's not very suitable for me right now. So I bobbinate, and I have since I was a kid. I don't have any problems with kinks in the floss. I've never had a problem with getting to, I've ended, like, used the last of the thread on bobbins many, many times over the past 30 years. I've never had a problem. Yeah, it kinks when you pull it off. There's kinks in it, but once you start stitching with it, straightens right out. It does not show. I don't care what some of these people say on Facebook. It does not show. It doesn't. And unless you're going into a competition, like if it like, but it doesn't, you don't see the kinks when you're stitching. I don't, yeah. So anyway, so that's what the bobbin looks like. They're pretty thick acrylic bobbins. And these little slits here, they hold the floss super, super good. I do have one that I had to do a new thing on. And I think the idea is that you can use this hole right here. You could put it on a ring. Some people like will put their stuff on rings. Or you could probably feed the floss through that to have it. But what I do when I cut my length is I wrap the extra going vertically on there so that I know that I have more floss that's already cut and ready to go. And then if I finish a thread and I still have enough that I could use it somewhere else, I wrap it over to the side over here. But these slits here, they hold that floss part. It doesn't like fall out and go dangling everywhere. Whatever dangles is what I couldn't end at the very end. So far I like them. My only problem is that I bought these when I had all of my bobbins. I'm trying to put this back in the right spot. I bought these when I had all of my bobbins just in like one master set, and I was just pulling, as I was doing projects, I was pulling from the master set and working on it. And I had like 8 boxes of floss sitting next to me, and I kept having to, I feel like I have to sneeze. I kept having to dig through all these different boxes to get the colors I needed, and it was getting on my nerves. So what I decided to do was, I was like, well, I have lots of floss. And so I was like, well, let me go ahead and just put the floss that I need, like one bobbin of each color in a box. So this is the one I need for catching rays. This will obviously not get me through the entire project, but this is one bobbin of each color that I need for this project. I have 2 for California Dreaming because that's like 240 colors. Yeah, so anyway, my point is that I'm not going to buy more of these right now because it's kind of silly for me to keep buying these and then having a mix of the cardboard bobbins. I use cardboard bobbins because the plastic ones don't hold my thread, the end of the thread. I don't like them. But by the time I get down to the bottom of the end of the bobbin, you know, the bobbin's kind of worn out, the cardboard one is, so I just throw it out and get a new one. I mean, they're really cheap, so I'm going to use those, but I'm not sure if I'm going to buy more, only because the way that I am working right now, it doesn't really make sense to, because I would need like, you know, 7 or 8 sets of these to use. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to buy more right now unless I start using them, and I just really, really, really love them. But you can buy them. They're at pipandchip.com, I think. They're a UK-based company. And it was pretty quick. Their shipping was pretty quick. I did buy a couple patterns too. I'm going to show you. So I'm not completely done with my stuff yet. But yeah, I got it like I want to say within 2 weeks from the UK, and I'm in the US. So I did buy a couple more patterns. I bought 2 from Charting Creations. This one is called Apple Pie Harvest. Artwork by Janet Kruskamp. This is going to be 475 by 336. That's what it's going to look like. And the other one I bought from Charting Creations is Lighthouse Merriment. This is from Nikki Bohm, and I probably mispronounced her name. This is going to be 425 by 352. So the lighthouse at Christmas time. You know what I like about this one? It's kind of like an ocean scene with no palm trees. Yeah. And then I bought a couple more things from Stitch Rovia. I think this one's called Summertime. Isn't that cute? And then this one is, whoops, I'm trying to pull up there we go. This one is I Love You More Than Yesterday. So it says, I love you more than yesterday. Yesterday, you really got on my nerves. I thought of my boys, my kids. And if you've never thought that about your kids, you're a liar. But I thought of my kids when I saw that. So, bought those 2 from Stitch Rovia. I think that's all the patterns that I bought, surprisingly. I believe that's all the patterns I bought. I did purchase some fabric for the 2 Charting Creations patterns. If they come in time, I'm actually going to see, there is another challenge on the Extreme Cross Stitching group that I had joined that did the 100, that's doing the 100K in 100 days. They have another challenge coming up at the end of the month. That is to do a project from start to finish. That's 100 and I gotta double check. Maybe this isn't gonna be big enough. That's about 100. Oh, I think it has to be at least 150,000 stitches, and complete it in 1 year, from the end of July to the end of the following July. So I am going to, if my fabric comes before that starts, I'm going to try to do Apple Pie Harvest and see if I can get that done in 1 year. I think I might be able to, because it's 150,000 stitches total in 1 year. And there's like 365... There's 365 days. That's like 411 stitches a day. And I average at least 500. At the very minimum, I do 400. So if even if I don't work on it every day, I can make up for it on some days that I have a lot of stitching time, like today will be one, and tomorrow. I think I can get a lot of stitching. And so if I do that, maybe I can make it like a weekend project, or I don't know, but I think I might be able to do it. We'll see. Like I said, if my fabric comes in time, I have fabric on order from 123 Stitch for that project, and we'll see how that goes. So my fake plans, time for fake plans. My fake plans will be to continue working on the Million Stitch project, which is Catching Rays. I think that thing is supposed to start before the next time no, not before the next time. I will see you guys before that starts, that apple pie one. So I'll see you before that starts, so that won't be in my plans. But my fake plans will be to continue working on Catching Rays, California Dreaming, most likely the Villa Lorna. I will be working on Hiding Place as well. One of the events that I'm doing is an Uno game where the game admin spins a wheel and you picked 4 whips, and this is going on the whole month of July. So you picked 4 whips, and so my 4 are Catching Rays, Villa Lorna, California Dreaming, and Hiding Place, which is this. This is from the Cross Stitch Studio, artwork by Abraham Hunter. So those are this is my 4th whip. And so she spins this spinner, and then if it lands on one of the 4 whips, then you do 100 stitches on it for that day. And then if it lands on, so like say you, at the first day you start, like would be starting with whip 1. And hang on, let me get to it. Where is it? Oh, I need to update that. So day 1, she spun the spinner and it was a wild card, and you could do 200 stitches on any whip of your choosing. Since I was already working on Catching Rays, I did that one. Day 2, she spun the spinner and it landed on whip 4, which was 100 stitches on Villa Lorna. And then day 3 was 100 stitches, was whip 2, which was California Dreaming. Day 4 was a draw 2. So you could do 100 stitches each on any 2 of those projects of your choice. If it lands on a reverse, like say the last whip that you stitched on was your whip number 3, or say it was whip number 4, since I have it right here. Say the last one I worked on was whip number 4, which was Villa Lorna. If it lands on reverse, then I would go back 1 to whip number 3. If it lands on a skip, and I had worked on Villa Lorna, I would skip whip number 1 and work on whip number 2. So you have them listed on your post, which numbers they are. If it lands, if she spins an Uno, you have 24 hours to complete 100 stitches on each one. That's the only one that's like timed. All the other ones you can spin as long as she spins, and you don't have to do it that day. You can go back and work on it. So I think there's a couple pieces. I think Hiding Place is one of the ones I have to go back and work on on a day or so of it to finish that day. But if she spins an Uno, then you have to, like, get 100 on each one, and then you can go back and do the other days. So anywho, so Hiding Place is definitely one I'm going to be working on. Villa Lorna, California Dreaming, Catching Rays. Another thing that I'm doing is, another event I'm doing is 12 Days of Christmas, where I picked out 12 projects. I told you I overwhelm myself. I picked out 12 projects to go with the 12 Days of Christmas. So like day 1 is a partridge in a pear tree. I picked reindeer stocking because there's a tree down at the bottom of the stocking. Day 2 is 2 turtle doves. I picked my Christmas tree stocking because there's a bird in a tree. It's like, they're pretty lenient with how you can connect that. Like day 10 is Lords of Leaping, and I had picked Catching Rays because there's dolphins leaping in the air. I mean, she's pretty lenient with how you can connect them to the different items, right? So the idea is that you work on 100 stitches a day for each one. So like day 1, you're supposed to do 100 stitches on that whip. Then day 2, you do 100 stitches on day 2's whip and another 100 on day 1 whip. Day 3, you do 100 stitches on day 3, 100 on whip number 2, 100 on whip number 1. so forth, so forth, so forth. She had the calculations of how many stitches you would end up doing all together, and then how many on each whip and whatnot if you did 12 different whips. So I don't know what happens after the day number 12. I don't know if the event is over and you just have the rest of the month to catch everything up, or if you just do 100 on each one every day. That's a lot. I don't know. So, but you can go back and finish it. You just can't stitch ahead. So like I can save one of my whips for until it's like further along. Like my reindeer stocking is day number 1. Well, I just waited until like the 4th, and then I just did like 400 stitches on it to get 4 days done. So anyway, so I have like 12 whips that I'll work on. Get right. I don't know. Like I said, I overwhelm myself. I don't know if I'm gonna finish them all. That's okay though. I think that's about it. Oh my God, less than an hour. Can I find something to talk about for another 9 minutes? No, I won't. Yeah, so if you have any questions, if you've stuck it out till the end, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. And if you didn't, I don't know why you're still here. But if you liked what you saw, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already. And go ahead and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. I generally will do one about every 2 weeks. And I wouldn't mind doing like a stitch with me, or like any kind of tutorials on how I stitch, like my methods, like the parking and stuff. But I just don't have a good, oh, one more thing I bought. One more thing I bought. I bought a magnifier. Look at me in my eyeball. I bought a magnifier. This is what is contributing to the speed at which I am stitching, because this thing magnifies stuff really good and is lighted. So I bought that. So anyway, now I'm gonna break it. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to comment down below. I will try to link everything that I showed you in the comments. The only thing I won't be linking, I don't think, are the 2 kits that I bought, because I just picked them up at the store. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will do my best to answer them. And any comments, whatever, you know, I love reading your comments. So if you like what you see, thumbs up, subscribe, notify, ask away, comment away. So hope you get a lot of good stitching in the next couple weeks, and stay safe, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.